We all love a great customer service story. From the cashier who helps an elderly lady to her car during a thunderstorm, to the airline CEO who gives up his seat for an ill passenger, stories of great service impress us, move us, and inspire us. But why do these types of customer service stories prompt such a reaction? Is it because customer service is often so sterile or so bad that we are impressed with even the most basic act of service if it pulls on our heartstrings? Do we secretly hope that such stories demonstrate that people are decent and just? The reactions to heartwarming customer service stories are as fascinating as the stories themselves. Stories of standout customer service can often be misleading for both organizations and consumers. Most customer service stories that capture our imagination and go viral do so because they are exceptional in nature. They do not represent the everyday flow of business. They are not scalable, meaning they cannot be implemented as part of normal operations. But every story does not need to scale because they often represent something larger: culture. The stories you are about to hear do not represent actions that should be taken with every customer, but a culture of training and customer centricity and employee empowerment that allow reps to judge the situation and act on behalf of the customer. Here you will find 7 inspirational customer service stories where frontline reps took action on behalf of a customer that was above and beyond the boundaries of their job responsibilities. Such stories almost always demonstrate the character of the frontline rep and show that they not only have a customer-centric outlook but a sense of humanity. Story number 1. Target employee gives career advice. When a teenager preparing for his first job interview walked into Target for a tie, he probably never thought he would be part of a viral customer service story. A shopper named Audrey was walking through the store when she saw an older Target employee helping a young man learn to tie a tie. The young man had come in for a clip-on tie, which Target does not sell. So a Target employee called over her fellow employee, Dennis Roberts, who showed the teen how to tie the tie. Audrey witnessed this exchange and then saw Dennis showing the teen how to field interview questions and how to shake hands. She was blown away by the incredible act of service and posted the encounter to Facebook with this comment. In Target at Triangle Town Center, a kid came in looking for a clip-on tie for a job interview this afternoon. The store only had regular ties, so this awesome Target team member took the time to help the nervous teen put on his new tie, tuck in his shirt, and then showed him how to give a proper handshake and tackle a few tough interview questions. As the kid exited the store, a bunch of supportive Target team members cheered him on. This is true customer service. Right on the mark, Target. By the way, the kid got the job at a local Chick-fil-A. I'm guessing he'll fit right in. Story number 2, a day at the resort for a toy giraffe. Chris Hearn of Mercantile Capital Corporation told a great story in the Huffington Post about a visit his family made to the Ritz-Carlton on Amelia Island. Hearn's young son left his stuffed giraffe Joshie at the resort. Hearn's son was upset, of course, but Hearn managed to convince him that Joshie was fine and was taking an extended vacation at the resort. Hearn called the Ritz and discovered that Joshie had been found. He asked the loss prevention team at the hotel if they could take a picture of Joshie on a lounge chair to support what he had told his son. They agreed. What the Ritz staff sent back to Hearn was a true example of hero-class service. The staff not only took pictures of Joshie in a lounge chair, but also of him hanging out with other stuffed friends, getting a massage, driving a golf cart, and doing other activities around the resort. In addition, the staff put all of the pictures in a binder and created a loss prevention ID card for Joshie. Sure, the staff at the Ritz could have spent $2,000 helping out Hearn and his son, but all it really took was some ingenuity and a willingness to make an effort to create an emotional impact that left an indelible impression. Story number 3, The Waitress and the Firefighters. In Chapter 1 of my book, Be Your Customer's Hero, I address how great customer service involves putting aside what is going on in your own life and focusing on the needs of others. This New Jersey waitress took the concept to a new level, and what happened in return will blow you away. The story begins as two New Jersey firefighters walk into a restaurant at 6 a.m. A 12-hour fire battle had been on the news that evening, and the waitress had been following it closely. When the firefighters went to pay their check, they were handed this guest check with a handwritten note from their waitress, Liz Woodward. It said, "Thank you. Your breakfast is on me today. Thank you for all that you do for serving others and for running into places everyone else runs away from. No matter your role, you are courageous, brave, and strong. Thank you for being bold and badass every day, fueled by fire and driven by courage. What an example you are. Get some rest, Liz." The firefighters were touched by the gesture, and one of them posted the receipt to Facebook with this message: "Such a selfless and kind act. I definitely urge my friends to make a trip out and support the business. And if Liz happens to be your waitress, tip big." What happened after the firefighters posted the picture to Facebook is amazing. The firefighters learned that Liz's father was a quadriplegic and that there was a crowdfunding campaign to get him a wheelchair-accessible van for $17,000. The firefighters encouraged others to contribute to the campaign. Turns out the young lady who gave us a free meal is really the one that could use the help. The campaign soon broke $70,000, far more than was originally needed. Liz was facing challenges with her own family, but she could still appreciate the sacrifices of others and demonstrate that while on the job. In customer service, acts of kindness are their own reward. But in this case, the reward was more than could be imagined. Story number 4, leaving the register to serve a customer. Is there a difference between customer service and kindness? This story about a McDonald's employee in Chicago asks that very question. This story was shared by Destiny Carreno, who observed the interaction while in the restaurant. She watched as an elderly man in a wheelchair approached a cashier. The man politely tried to ask the cashier something, and it took him a few tries before either of us could understand he was saying, "Help me, please." Neither of us knew what help he needed, and the cashier suggested a few things before he figured out the gentleman needed help cutting and eating his meal. To be honest, I thought the cashier wasn't going to help, especially during rush hour in downtown Chicago, but to my shock, he shut down his register and disappeared from view. Not to get away from helping him, but to wash his hands and put gloves on. The cashier came out from the kitchen, sat down, and began cutting the man's meal and helped him eat. At that point, the tears started to gather in my eyes. My heart was so appreciative for what he did. I couldn't contain my emotions in the crowded restaurant. This employee who put everything on hold for this man went above and beyond his responsibilities to help this handicapped customer out. That was the kindest and most humble thing I had ever seen. Customer service does involve kindness. Making a simple gesture, sharing a kind word, or simply taking that extra step to improve another person's day. The article asks if this is customer service or kindness. It's both. Story number 5, a lost Lego and a service lesson. Turns out there's more than one way for a company to help a child with a lost toy. 7-year-old Luca Apps had purchased a new Lego Ninjago Ultrasonic Raider set with his Christmas money. Shortly thereafter, and against his father's advice, Luca took some of the characters from the set on a trip to the store with him. The character JZX never returned from the mission. It appears that Luca was all set to learn a valuable lesson about responsibility. However, he ended up learning lessons about perseverance and customer service as well. Luca was willing to sit down, compose an email, and ask the company for a little help. Luca wrote the following to Lego to tell them of his unfortunate parting with JZX. "Hello, my name is Luca Apps, and I am 7 years old. With all my money I got for Christmas, I bought the Ninjago kit of the Ultrasonic Raider. The number is 9449. It is really good. My daddy just took me to Sainsbury's and told me to leave the people at home. But I took them, and I lost JZX at the shop as it fell out of my coat. I am really upset I have lost him. Daddy said to send you an email to see if you will send me another one. I promise, I won't take him to the shop again if you can. Luca. The response he received from Lego was epic. Luca, I told Sensei Wu that losing your J minifigure was purely an accident, and that you would never, ever, ever let it happen ever again. He told me to tell you, Luca, your father seems like a very wise man. You must always protect your Ninjago minifigures, like the dragons protect the weapons of Spin Jitsu. Sensei Wu also told me it was okay if I send you a new J, and told me it would be okay if I included something extra for you. Because anyone who saves their Christmas money to buy the Ultrasonic Raider must be a really big Ninjago fan. So I hope you enjoy your J minifigure with all his weapons. You will actually have the only J minifigure that combines 3 different Js into one. I am also going to send you a bad guy for him to fight. Just remember what Sensei Wu said. Keep your minifigures protected, like the weapons of Spin Jitsu. And of course, always listen to your dad. Richard, Lego. Lego had many options. Even the best of the standard options imaginable would have been a new toy and a short note. However, Lego took the time to reinforce its brand, support the message of the parent, and to make the child feel great. Lego won 2 customers that day, Luca and his dad. Story number 6, an amazing birthday surprise. This is a personal experience of mine. We traveled to Asheville, North Carolina one year to celebrate my wife's birthday. When booking our room at the Hotel Indigo, we briefly mentioned the birthday to the reservation agent, hoping to get a room with a view, but we didn't make a big deal about it. That conversation was a month before we booked the trip. When we arrived that July 4th weekend, we were a few hours ahead of the 3 o'clock check-in. After killing time downtown and waiting patiently in the lobby, I approached the reservation desk to check the status of the room. The front desk representative leaned over and whispered, "We are still getting your room ready. I gave you an awesome mountain view on the 9th floor, but the concierge is still out buying stuff to prepare the room for your wife's birthday." I was shocked. The staff not only documented her birthday when we mentioned it in passing a month before, but checked the notes prior to check-in and went out of their way to create an incredible surprise. I kept my wife occupied in the lobby while we waited, and when we finally arrived in the room, this picture is what we saw. My wife was touched by the gesture, which, unfortunately, I had to admit, had been the hotel's doing, not mine. This was a special weekend away for a milestone birthday, and the staff at the Hotel Indigo made our first experience an absolutely amazing one, and made the birthday one my wife will always remember. With simple systems, some awareness, and a desire to make an effort for their customers, the team at the Hotel Indigo started off a celebratory weekend in an amazing way. Story number 7, the right flowers at the right moment. Lauren Casper has a special family. She and her husband are adoptive parents of 2 beautiful children, both with special needs. Like many a young mother, one day while shopping with her family, Lauren felt overwhelmed. She was hurrying to the car almost in tears with her youngest child in tow when she heard someone yell out to her. I stopped and turned to find a young woman rushing toward me. A bright smile covered her face, and I immediately noticed her beautiful black curls, just like the black curls snuggled on my chest, tickling my chin. Recognizing her shirt, I realized that she worked there and assumed I must have dropped something. I looked at her, holding back my tears, waiting. "I just wanted you to have this bouquet," and I looked down to see the flowers in her hands. She quickly continued to explain. "I was adopted as a baby, and it has been a wonderful thing. We need more families like yours." I stared at her, stunned. Hadn't she seen what a disaster we were in the store? Didn't she see that we were barely able to keep it together? Didn't she see what I felt were all my failures as a mom? As she handed me the flowers, I managed to choke out a thank you and tried to express that this meant the world to me. She patted my shoulder, told me my family was beautiful, and walked back into the store. The Trader Joe's employee, Joanne, went out of her way to make an impact on a customer's life. She saw something special, and she did something special in return. These 7 stories above all began because frontline team members saw their customers as something more than customers. They saw them as human beings who needed something more than just ordinary service. Behind every great customer service story is a special human being and a customer-centric culture. The world needs more of both. And if you want to learn more about how to turn your team into customer heroes, make sure to check out our Rapid Hero virtual training courses at customersthatstick.com.